Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a video talking about Litecoin. I did a video about Dogecoin before and it did really well, so I want to break down Litecoin in a way that I don't know, I haven't really before. So this is more a freestyle video. I don't have any like script or anything to kind of go off of for this, so I'm just gonna kind of be spitballing things from Litecoin. The reason I'm in Litecoin and I love the idea of it, all this stuff, so you guys are gonna hear it all breaking down. So right now, Litecoin is not super expensive. Right now, I'll look up. It's at, while I'm recording this, at $55.18. You guys know, here, hold on. You guys know the market has been pretty kind of stagnant. Litecoin has had the days where it's blown up, and it's had days where it's come back down. And most of the time it's been around $55, $56, gone up to pushing 70, and then comes back down. So I think that's going to be a trend for a little bit longer. It's probably going to go up. Obviously going to go up as Bitcoin goes up. So once Bitcoin pushes up, Litecoin's going to push up, and I think around $70 is when people might be thinking about getting out. They see it kind of go up to there and then start to even level out, so they just sell and they kind of panic. So I think we might have a few more weeks, if not maybe a couple months of this type of trading going on. It's not going to last forever. You know, people who got in and are losing money are the ones who want to get out and just take whatever they have left. So basically, you know, you're going to have this type of fluctuation, but right now is the perfect time to get into Litecoin. You know, it's not super expensive, $55. You could be buying a few Litecoins here and there across time, especially if this trend continues. You could easily be buying Litecoins for relatively cheap because ideally the market is going to go up. But obviously this is all obviously opinion, but the crypto market, in my opinion, is too big to disappear, and I think it has too much impact already that it's not going to go anywhere. So you see Bitcoin is already being adopted in places, and Litecoin is literally Bitcoin, but just a little bit easier to use, a little bit better, because it's cheaper to send, has the fees are easier, and all that kind of stuff. It's just better to spend. So that's why you might see volume in Litecoin on one day be higher than volume in Bitcoin, just because the Litecoin volume is easier to send and stuff because fees are so much cheaper. So you got to think about that. Over time, you know, people are going to realize that and start using Litecoin with Bitcoin. It's not going to replace it. They're not going to, you know, stop using Bitcoin because it already has tremendous value. But they're going to be using Litecoin in a sense where you could buy things like your groceries, like everyday purchases. You can use it to buy those. To whereas Bitcoin you would use to buy a house, a car, you know, this type of stuff. Not to mention that the Litecoin Foundation is always making upgrades to the coin. They're out on Twitter talking about what they're doing. They have this conference, I think, coming up, if I'm not mistaken. Either already happened or is coming up. I'm not sure on the date, but they have this conference every year to kind of promote Litecoin. They're at the Lightning Network. They got privacy that they're thinking about adding to Litecoin. So they're just kind of trying to make Litecoin better all around, just for everyone. That's why it could be a better idea or a better time to get in right now while it's cheap, while it's kind of on a big dip. Everyone wants to start getting in once it starts going up, which is the worst time to get into something, because once it starts going up, it's going to come back down at least a little bit. So if you get in while it's down, and while it's trending down, and while it's on a dip, then I mean you're more likely to make money. Not that if you bought it on a rise, on a $70 rise, still I think $70 is still a good price to get in at, but you're gonna see loss of money sooner than profit of money, which is what deters a lot of people. So what people need to be doing right now, if you want to get into Litecoin, I would say buy it now. When I say buy it now, I mean you have to buy it now and hold it. You can't expect huge profits overnight, in a week, in a month, in 5 months, 10 months. You can't expect huge profits from that. You got to be willing to hold this super long term for, I mean, minimum a year, 5 years, 3 to 5 years, I'd say somewhere within 3 to 5 year window is where people are going to start seeing huge returns from Litecoin. And you don't want to be that person who's looking back, who in 5 years when Litecoin hits a big number of profit, there's a ton of people making a bunch of money, and Litecoin makes people millionaires again, like Bitcoin did. Then it'll be, you'll be looking back and saying, like, I wish I got into it, I wish I pulled the trigger, and you don't want to be thinking that. So, and then going back on this topic, we're Litecoin making people millionaires. I would think in 5 years, 10 years, I mean, in a while, crypto could replace fiat, normal money, paper currency, for the strict fact that paper currency is really getting kind of, I don't know the right word, diluted, something like that. Like countries that, like Venezuela, they're getting their money become worthless. If you make $100 one day, the next day it could be worth only 10. So, you don't want to experience that, and with crypto offers more stability. It doesn't seem like it because it's super volatile, but it's more stable than like their current, like third world country currencies. So that's why it's flourishing in third world countries, and I mean countries like the U.S. are starting to adopt it. Big countries, first world countries are starting to get into it, but that's basically my take on it. Like Litecoin, something has to replace paper money, and I've always said that technology has constantly helped and evolved and made everything better. And the one industry it hasn't is finance. There's nothing in the finance industry that has really disrupted the industry, and I think this is it. And the finance industry is a super old one, so it's going to take time to turn it over, and it's going to take time to make sure that people are wanting to adopt crypto and do all this type of stuff. Finance is incredibly regulated, and the government and everything is always on top of it, looking at it. That's why it's been taking a while for crypto to kind of get in the scene, for people to kind of accept it. So that's about it, guys. For Litecoin, right now, I would say it's a great time to get into it. If you want to get into it a little bit, you got to be willing to hold it for a while. Again, as always, this isn't financial advice. I'm not some sort of financial advisor. Do your own research. Don't invest money that you don't have to lose. All that kind of stuff. Follow the rules of investing and stuff. But guys, as always, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. I love seeing support. It really helps the channel grow, and I'll see you guys in my next video.